This is Ashley D'Angelo staying at Florence House Homeless Shelter in Portland, Maine. There are women in here that are wearing gray, and it makes me very uncomfortable. That those are women that I am forced to service, okay, with magic when I'm unconscious. And it's psychological abuse. That those are not peers, those women are not being abused in this whole shelter like me. We live under a different set of life conditions. It's not fair that this woman, me, with the MSW, the BA in psychology, is being forced to service people. That means perform oral sex on them when I'm unconscious to embarrass and humiliate me, hoping I'll leave where there's nowhere else to go. The other home shelter did the same thing. Here, I just, in both home shelters, I just sleep next to and be around people on forced service. It's depressing, and no one gives a shit about my psychological health. So I told APA outside this homeless shelter Florence House is a dog park in a big gray parking garage. Dogs are women that are trapped and abused. They don't let me sleep. Look at that. Severe circles under my eyes. I've been deprived of sleep. There's another woman here at this homeless shelter in a, excuse me, that's a burp. That's a spell. The grudge just made me burp. Gross of the devil. That's not, and you should get mad at me about it, say, that's disgusting. Cast a spell on me. A woman in the wheelchair, she has severe circles under her eyes, and that's what abusers do, trackers do, so the victim's too tired to do anything. So I don't like these women being allowed to stay here. They follow me from the other home shelter. They wore gray there at Oxford Street, then wore black and blue, so let's beat up this woman that we forced to service us. And then why it said prostitute, says beat up this prostitute. My Uncle Tony is a tracker. He makes money tracking me, exploiting me. He steals ideas from me, worth a lot of money. Netflix is one of them. And the custom made Nikes is another one that made billions of dollars. And he said he's going to make money doing sadism. There were people walk around at the homeless shelter with gray coats and gray shoes saying we're Ashley's going to be forced to perform oral sex on them. I'm sad and depressed and don't want to live, wish I was dead. I said, you're not allowed to do things that make people wish for death. And then they say Ashley's not stable. Ashley's high risk for suicide. She can't have her own apartment. I was like, well, stop doing this shit to me, and I'm not going to say those things, okay? I don't know why they're allowed to do this. There's gray on laundry machines here in this homeless shelter, Florence House. And I told you about the dog park. They have a dog in here on a leash, and I say I'm a leash because Chakra stole my ID, and they will only have a new one to be able to leave the city. They keep trying to mob me out of the city, but I don't want to be mobbed out of the city because the city's been a part of my life since I was a little girl. I know where things are. I have brain damage, and I don't want to go to a city where I don't know where things are. I don't know why they're allowed to do these things. No one's telling them to stop. Someone told me that they torture me in the middle of the night. They have a teapot on the staff desk saying make scream pour from, make a lot of money. And then torture makes you tired. So I have severe circles in my eyes. And these assholes put toilet paper up my nostrils to make my nostrils bigger, saying pig. I'm not a pig, I'm a raccoon that likes to eat, okay? They're not allowed to abuse you anymore, okay? That is a weird spell that Gretchen cast on me that whenever they speak comes out of my mouth. So what you just heard prior to me explaining this was Gretchen speaking. You don't know what you did. That was Gretchen just saying you don't know what you did. These evil people, Gretchen, Aaron, Cooper, and Tony, all child molesters, follow me around 24 hours a day, abusing me with magic, and they trap me every night. Child molesters are trying to abuse me now, and it's ridiculous. It's very sadistic. They're lying saying that I'm a child molester when I'm a victim of child molestation from Peak Sound, my brother DJ too, and I outed them to NPR, FBI, and BBC World. I'm a victim. I'm not a perp. I'm an informant because I saw signs and clues and heard evildoers talking, and I out them. I'm not one of them, and Gretchen keeps lying to people saying I'm convicted child molester. No, I'm not. I've never been to court for that, and I out them. So I said, you saw me in court. That wasn't me. So I found I was impersonated. I found that magic people can impersonate you with potions, just like in that movie Harry Potter. It's like, I can't believe that I have to live like a child molester. I'm being abused to death by child molesters. I'm mad out them. And there are child molesters that work at this homeless shelter. Michael's one of them. He's a bad baldy. God told me why bald. Because they're bad. God steals their looks from them. God decides whether or not the hair grows. So, that signifies it's a bad person. It's when they do extreme bad things. So he works here and doesn't want me staying here because I like to eat. So he's a sexist, and I don't like sexist being allowed to work here. And I don't like deranged, sadistic people being allowed to live in the home shelter system with me. Outside, there are cement blocks that represent women with chains on it for sleep. I don't know why they're allowed to do these things. Abuse of an adult is supposed to be against the law. Adult protective services won't do their job. They ruin my kidneys and other homeless shelter. I called adult protective services about that, and they didn't do anything. I don't know why they're able to do these things. They lie and say child molester to justify the abuse of Ashley. So it's fucked up. So Aaron Cooper lying, saying I spent his money. I never asked him for a damn thing. I never exchanged money with him, never touched him. But they said they forced me for oral sex on him for the social security money tab. When I went to the social security office a long time ago, they wore gray there saying we're pro trafficking. They think there's a gray area. And McDonald's, their employees wore gray. I went to Apple Store to get my phone. They had gray on the handles of the shopping bag that they gave me my phone in. So it's fucked up. It's very sizzling because I invented a cell phone, believe it or not. I'm an inventor. They might have made the things, but it came from my mind. You talk to the cell phone, it knows who invented it. There's spirit in everything, I found out. I didn't know that when I was younger. I didn't know that there's artificial intelligence that Satan traps someone inside the phone. Well, there's someone in there, and it knows who created it. So, the first cell phone I invented that, and first texting, and I invented the computer one when I was in grad school at uni, and like I said, wouldn't it be neat if you'd be able to do email on there, apps like Pandora, Netflix on there, and listen to music, and then years later, I thought of being able to have television on the phone. Watch TV on there. I came up with that on the Fairy Peak Sound. This is very bullshit how they're making me live. I met Netflix years ago. Uncle Tony still that. And they exploit me. I said, you're not allowed to track a billionaire. Nike should have to pay for the food at this place because they owe me. I mean, the custom made shoes app was my idea. I came up with that in California, and I said Vans should do it. And they did it, and I didn't get any credit. They said that was their idea. I said, well, custom-made shoes was your idea, but the computer 3D app was my idea. That customers could look at the shoes 3D and see what it looks like when they applied certain colors to different areas of the shoe. That was my idea, and I told Zappos about it on my Twitter, my old Twitter account, AshDanger1. And I thought of Nike here in Portland, Maine. Uncle Twin stole the idea, and he did it. And people walk around me wearing gray shoes, saying, I'm a person you're going to be forced to perform oral sex on for the shoes you're wearing. I said, they're not allowed to do this. I know it's against the law to exploit people, so I don't know why they're allowed to do this. So that's why I'm wearing this black and white bag that I got from Walmart where I keep my wallet. And so, I don't know, it's been very depressing and been tired and sad. So work of mine was plagiarized by Gretchen and others, so I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life because they didn't let me use the library for 3 years. No trespass me, the police collude with trackers, the trackers control the police that no trespass me to the library, saying you're not allowed in there, and they said 2 years, and I was like, why did I do it? But it ended up being 3 years. And my work about Medicaid for home shelters was plagiarized. I came up with new sources of tax revenue to fund home shelters and talked about professionalizing this field with people with degrees in psychology and social work like me to eliminate malpractice and abuse. I said it'd be less likely there'd be abuse in a home shelter if the person had degrees in those fields. People that pursue those degrees tend to be caring people. There are bad psychologists and there's bad social workers. I can't believe the NASW doesn't do anything about the abuse of me here, that they say don't care about me because they know they're supposed to report abuse of adults to Adult Protective Services. And in the Code of Ethics that I studied in 2011 in school at UNE, NASW Code of Ethics, it said that social workers are supposed to be against the abuse of the poor. So, I don't know. I'm not sure how they can hold those positions at NASW and not do anything about the abuse of Ashley, because it's commonly known. So I don't know. Not happy don't know what to do, that people whose jobs is stand up for my rights aren't doing that. So I'm communicating with other countries. So I don't know. But I'm hoping that some social workers will see this and do something about all this abuse and tell people if you're not a real homeless person that's on Medicaid, you shouldn't be allowed to stay in the homeless shelter. Unless there's a situation that they're like, they have their own private insurance to pay for them to be in a homeless shelter if they're, you know, a middle class person or upper class that left their husband and need a place to stay. Um, their insurance paid, but they should have to prove that they need to be here because there's abusers in here. And I stayed in the phone room a lot the last time I was here because I couldn't stand being around. It was too uncomfortable. Sitting in a room with people I'm forced to serve is very abusive. My family introduced me. So my family, Uncle Tony, an uncle that tracks me, he gets to control this domestic violence shelter. It's Florence House. It's supposed to be a domestic violence shelter. It's run by abusers. I was like, I can't believe they're allowed to torture me. I don't know. I'm unconscious when this all's happening. But they threatened my vagina last night, and I was like, I shouldn't have to worry about my vagina. I shouldn't. You know. They want women scared to stay in these places, and that's not good. You know, they made women frightened. It's not good. Not supposed to need a man to be safe in these places, but they're trying to get me to cry for me. I don't know, it's very unhappy for me. So they still work for me that gave my life purpose. You know, there's organizations like RAND, a research organization that I communicate with, and they never write me back. I said, why is that? I had a new model for homeless shelters that I talked about where homeless people get their own room. And it's all paid for Medicaid and staff downstairs with degrees, you know, could do targeted case management, refer them to the things that they need help with. And Grudge said, we did it in LA. I'm like, oh, I'm not allowed to be a part of my work. It's very hurtful. I found even children of mine, daughters, that trap me and say, we did your work. I was like, I don't know. I'm very unhappy. Wish I could go work on poverty in another country. So unhappy. I can't believe what's been done to me. They said, well, this is what you get for plagiarizing a doctor. I never plagiarized Dr. Opener. When I was in Washington, D.C., I was working on a document in my Apple Pages app, and his name was in there, and I cited his movie, Plan for Nation, and I found out that Joe Biden put Gretchen up to it. He said to her, take the doctor's name out and sell the document. And they did it without my permission, without my knowledge or consent. It made it look like I plagiarized. I don't plagiarize, and they said that's how they justified keeping me out of the library. It should be against the law not to let someone communicate or work. That's what abusers do, and it's one strategy of war in that book, The Art of War. Cut off enemies' lines of communication, access to information. But they also didn't let me work. So it's been very upsetting, very difficult to bear, and I'm grieving all that. They said that daughters of mine went all the country talking about Medicaid for home shelter. I said, that's work that I wanted to do. And I don't know, so it's upsetting. Salvatore, I told their lobbyists in front of Capitol Hill in their magazine about Medicaid for home shelters, and someone said, you plagiarized Salvatore. That's bullshit. I told them. I'm the one who came up with it. I brought it from my past work experience because I worked for two community service boards, Valley and Region 10 in Virginia, and they both build Medicaid for us to help people. And I also worked in a substance abuse treatment center where they used tax dollars to fund it. It was shelter plus care money, but that was for substance abuse. Wasn't done at other homeless shelters, but I thought, why not Medicaid when you go to the hospital? Medicaid pays for you to stay there, pays for the food, and for your stay there. Usually it's mostly medical, but all your costs are there. So why can't they figure out a per person per month amount to be able to bill Medicaid for? They could figure that out. And I talked about how little money goes from a taxpayer to help the poor. I asked an economic person, they said it's only 10 cents a year. I wanted to raise it from 10 cents to $1. I said, how's that possible? It's so little. People were saying they didn't want their hard-earned pay to go to help the poor, to stay in homeless shelters. And I said, well, it's very little goes from you to help the poor. Found it's a fraction of a penny. I wanted to make it $1 a year. Raise it from 10 cents to $1 because it's only $1. And that could be used to help a lot of people because none of that money was being used to help people in homeless shelters. So came with new sources of tax revenue to fund homeless shelters. That was one source of tax revenue. Another one was taking money away from NASA. That was billions of dollars. I said I'd like to see that help the poor. But we wouldn't have to do that if we did the $1 tax. So I don't know, I had different ideas. I shared it with Poor People's Campaign. Now, lobbying is something that I enjoy doing, that I study in school, and I do it informally because I didn't get to look nice. I talked to leaders on both sides, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, and I've talked to others, and that is work. Taking time, communicating, spreading messages, trying to, improve the care that's delivered to the poor and homeless, improving outcomes for them, trying to improve their physical and psychological health, lowering substance abuse rates, and trying to lower depression. I had different, suggestions how to accomplish those goals. And people are supposed to be paid for healthness. So I said, you should forgive my student loans for my helpfulness. But I don't know, I never get any confirmations. They say they do, but people say I have bad credit. So I was like, well, that should be, expunged. So I don't know. So I will try and find something that is related to homelessness that I can still do, because I don't think they've professionalized the field yet. They still have people working that don't have degrees in homeless shelters, and I'm against that because I want them to understand the psychological health and not do things that make people depressed. I want them to be caring people that also understand the laws of, providing care to an adult in a human services setting. And they're supposed to learn that in school and also in trainings provided by employers. So I do have some work to do about trying to, raise the bar. So I will work on that when I'm not too tired. But, abusers want me tired. Hopefully I will get some sleep one of these nights, and I'll be more energetic and be up for more things.